Before starting a new game, let's first finish the Pong from the previous time. We created a variable bow speed right, and we are using it to make the bow jump from left to right, but we don't have a similar variable bow speed down. If we had, we would need to add it to bow Y. And we should be careful when to change its value. For example, it will be a nice idea to stop moving the bow up or down if it exits the playing field. For example, here I should write bow speed down to be equal to -3 instead of 3. We learned about those special numbers, especially those of you who are small children that haven't learned about negative numbers in school. So we know that we can add positive numbers, the numbers that you all know. We can add them to a number and we will increase it, but there are also negative numbers that we can also add to a number, and this will actually decrease the number, so we can make our speed down to be negative, meaning that we actually go up. Let's see if this is going to happen. So initially we were going down, and when we hit the bottom we started going up, because our speed down became a negative number, and this negative number had been added to bow Y, so bow Y was decreasing. And I think you saw that bow Y was decreased so much that it eventually became less than 0. And I haven't written here anything that will change bow speed down. I want it again to be a positive number, so the bow can go down. And let's see how this is happening now. Well, I think this is exactly the way I wanted the game to be. And if I'm too happy with it, I can totally change it. And for example, I might want to change bow Y for some strange reason. I can add to bow speed down, for example, just a small number like this one, and let's see what is going to happen now. You can see that my bow is now strangely jumping. You might be surprised that this happened, but it was one of our homework tasks to change the paths of the bow to be instead jumping or some really different way. What I'm doing now is that I'm always increasing the speed down, so if it's a positive number it will go even faster, and if it's a negative number, when I'm adding some small number to it, it will go closer to 0. We can also not change those speeds to -3, but to minus their current value. So this will not change the speed of going up and down to 3, but instead to what it was before, with the opposite sign. And you can see that now my jumping is continuous and I don't lose any of my speed. This of course is not needed for any Pong, so I better reverse it. I can only delete this line that changed the bow speed down, and those lines of code can also do the job if the initial bow speed down is 3 and it doesn't change except for changing to -3 and then with the same line of code back to +3. And you can see that now my bow is again not jumping but just reflecting out of the ends of the playing field. I think this was interesting and I hope you liked it. In the future lessons we will also have games with jumping, so I hope that this idea of a variable for our speed down that will change is nice and you liked it and you're going to remember it and use it in our future games. Instead, today I want to make a totally new game. I think 2 lessons for Pong were enough. So today we are going to make a game similar to this one. This is one of the funniest avoiders that I've seen. And yeah, avoider is a whole genre in computer games where you just need to avoid the enemies, and in this game you are the mouse and you can see this guy trying to get the mouse. Our game will be easier to code. In our game we will be chased by just one rectangle and it's not going to do so much interesting circles or jumps. It's just going to go in a straight line, but perhaps with a huge speed, so the player will have difficulties if he's slow. I want you to draw the player in some color. I want you to make him stay on the same spot as the mouse, and the enemies that are going to try to hit him are going to be in a different color, and for example they can go from up and try to hit the player. I hope you realized that in this game we will need some way to check if the player has been hit. This is a thing that we needed in so much games. For example, even in our first game, Jetpack Joyride, we needed this, and we totally skipped it and didn't do it, and our game just it was just endless, so the player needed to stop when he admits that he's been hit. This is not going to be so from now on, because today we are going to make our own way to check for collisions, and then I'm going to show you a more simple and ready way to check for such collisions. You can start by creating an enemy and the player following the mouse, and pretty soon you will hit the problem of how to check for a collision. Good luck!